Hello, I'm Joanne Hewins. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I would like to show you how to make a box to go with these treats that I found. I do have a blog called lovetocreate.typepad.com. Love for you to visit that sometime. So I found these treats and I want to make a box that will go with them. So let's talk about how we would make a box that would fit the Peeps here. So the first thing that we're going to have to do is measure our box. So I'm going to measure the side, and this ruler has a little bitty space here, so I have to remember to go past that. And it looks like it's an inch, maybe just a tad more. And I want the treat to go in and out of the box easily, so I'm going to add 1/8 of an inch to that. So the first side would be 1 1/8 inch. And then we're going to add the front of the box. So I'm going to measure that, and it's right at 3, but I'm going to add just 1/8 of an inch to make it just a little bit bigger. So 3 1/8. Now the other side will be the same as this one. So I'm going to add that. And then the back is going to be the same as the front. So 3 1/8. So now I've got all the measurements around the box, but I want to be able to have a box I can close that I can adhere. So I'm going to add for a flap for that. And I'm going to add 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and convert it into eighths for our adding. So 4/8. So adding our whole numbers, we have 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And then we're going to add our eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths plus 4 eighths is 1. So we have a total of 9 inches to go around the box. Now we also have to measure how long the box is. So when I put my measure on there, it is about 5 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little 1/8 of an inch there and make that 5 1/2 for that. And then we're going to need to do the bottom. So measuring that, it's about the same as the side. So I'm going to make that 1 1/8. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and convert that to 4/8. So we're going to have 6 4/8 plus 1/8 is 5/8. So that's going to be for the length and the bottom of our box. So let's go ahead and using those measurements, we'll cut our piece of paper. We're going to be using Mango Melody. It's a good kind of Halloween color to use. And I'm going to bring in one of the old cutters. I think we'll be able to see this part a little bit better. I wish we still had these. They are wonderful. So I'm going to measure the first side at 9 inches. And then I'm going to turn it, and the next side is the 6 5/8. So it is still kind of hard to see. There's 6. This is 6 1/2. So we'll go over another 1/8 on that and cut that. So now our paper is cut, and we are ready to score our box. So I'm going to bring in the Simply Scored, and we'll score our box. I'm going to kind of bring this in and out. The first side is 1 1/8. Now the score POW is divided into 8, so the score Simply Scored into 8. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1 1/8 is that first line or first tick past the 1. Now the next side is 3 1/8. Okay, an easy way for me to do that is to just go over 3, from 1 1/8, 2 1/8, 3 1/8, 4 1/8. And then I'm going to add that next eighth. So it's going to end up that we are scoring at 4 1/4. So let me add that to our paper where we're going to score. So the first one was at 1 1/8, and then the second one is at 4 1/4. Now we're going to go over for the next small side of the box, which is 1 1/8. So I'm going to go over 1, which would be, we're at 4 1/4. I'm going to go to 5 1/4 and over 1 tick mark. So that score is at 5 3/8. Let me add that in. And then we have to go over the one more big piece. So it's 3 1/8. I'm going to go over, here's 5 3/8. I'm going to go over to 6 3/8, 7 3/8, 8 3/8, and add 1. And that's going to do it right here. And you'll be scoring at 8 1/2. So let me add that in. And then for the bottom, you're going to score at 1 1/8. Again, that was that score of the bottom. So what I'm going to do is turn my paper around and score at 1 1/8. Okay? And that's all of our scoring. So we scored for each side. We have our little flap left, and we have our bottom. So I'm going to use my bone folder to, sorry, I had to look for that, to burnish the folds or the score lines and make our folds for that. And then we have the fold here at the bottom. And we're going to do. All right, and now we're ready to make a few cuts in our box. So I'm going to cut up at each score line along the bottom to that score line, that the first score line that goes across there. All right, now this is the flap, so we aren't going to need this part. I'm just going to cut it away. And I'd like to keep the front of the box looking pretty good. So this is the front. The part next to the flap is going to be the back. So these others, I'm going to miter the corners. And for a miter, you're just going to cut at an angle. There's no certain degree about that. And then I'm going to leave this one alone and miter these. Okay. So that's all of the cutting that we have for our box now. We're ready to put it together. And I'm going to use the tearing tape to do that. So I'm just going to add it here to the box, and I'm going to add it next to the fold line. Okay, and then we'll just pull that up. Now I got it a little far here. I'm just going to kind of fold that back on itself. And we are ready to just kind of fold this over. Get it even. And do the side of our box. So now we've got that part done. We're ready to do the ends. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue to help me with that, the Tombow glue. And I'm going to fold in my flaps here and fold the piece that has the miters, and then I'm going to put glue here and fold this over and get it as square as I can. I'll hold that just a second, and then I'm going to turn it over, and with my bone folder I'm just going to go down in there and get everything adhered well. Okay, now I have my box. Let's see if it's going to fit. So I have my Peeps. And yeah, they go right in, so I have that. So pretty simple, just to measure your treat and make it fit, make the box fit. I have a couple boxes here that I've already made that are on my blog today with the One Stamp at a Time blog hop. So this one I made to go with my pumpkin Peeps. And this one I made to go with the ghost Peeps. So I'll tell you a little bit about these. I'm not going to make them with you, but I'll tell you what I used. For the background, I used the Buffalo Check stamp set, and my suggestions with that would be to use the Stamparatus, because I did stamp it several times to get a pretty even look. I would make sure that my ink pad was good and juicy and inked up, and I think you'll have good luck. Good even pressure on those plates all the way around. And then for the Halloween bulbs, I used the Making Everyday Bright stamp set. This stamp is where I put across the corner here, and then for to go across here, I evened it up right here in the middle of this box and stamped, and then I stamped again matching. It's photopolymer, so it's easy to match up. And then for the sockets or the ends of the bulbs, I use the galvanized paper that's in the holiday catalog, and I just cut a strip about 1/2 inch and stamped my ends on there with the Memento Black, and then punched those out. The good thing about this is that Stampin' Up! Does have a punch that will punch out the ends of the light bulbs, and then the light bulb itself. And I always love a punch. It's called the Christmas Bulb Builder Punch. And then for the ghost and the jack-o'-lantern, I used the September Paper Pumpkin. It has in it the ghost, the jack-o'-lantern. It has the little pieces to use for the shiny that goes behind the eyes and the face of the jack-o'-lantern. And then I used the twine that came with it for the bows. Also, the saying is from the stamp set from the Paper Pumpkin. I'll lay that there. The Frights and Delights. And then I used one of these tags actually for these bulbs. Okay. Now I also have a coordinating card that I made to go with these. So there it is. For it, I used the Trick or Tweet stamp set, and I used the cat for that. Cut him out with the stitched shapes, framelits, and the layering ovals, and then colored it in with blends. The Mango Melody blends, light and dark, are in the holiday catalog, and then I used a little bit of the Ivory blend on the bandages. So there you go. Here I have the 2 treats and the card. If this was a helpful video for you, I hope that you will share it with your friends. And if you need supplies, I would love to be your demonstrator. And you can go to lovetocreate.typepad.com to link up with my online store. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.